Chapter 17. Right. Then Scaevola, smiling, said, I will not struggle with you any longer, Crassius, for you have by some artifice made good what you asserted against me, so as to grant me whatever I refused to follow to the orator, and yet so as to wrest from me those very things again I know not how, and to transfer them to the orator as his property. When I went as praetor to Rhodes and communicated to Apollonius, that famous instructor in this profession, what I had learned from Pantius, Apollonius, as was his manner, ridiculed these matters, threw contempt upon philosophy, and made many other observations with less wisdom than wit. But your remarks were of such a kind as not to express contempt for any arts or sciences, but to admit that they are all attendants and handmaids of the orator, and if ever anyone should comprehend them all, and the same person should add to that knowledge the powers of supremely elegant oratory, I cannot but say that he would be a man of high distinction and worthy of the greatest admiration. But if there should be such a one, or indeed has ever been, or can possibly be, you alone would be the person who, not only in my judgment, but in that of all men, have hardly left to other orators, I speak it with deference to this company, any glory to be acquired. If, however, there is in yourself no deficiency of knowledge pertaining to judicial and political affairs, and yet you have not mastered all that additional learning which you assign to the complete orator, let us consider whether you do not attribute to him more than possibly in truth itself will allow. Here Crassius rejoined, Remember that I have not been speaking of my own talents, but of those of the true orator. For what I have either learned or had a possibility of knowing, who entered upon pleading before I had any instruction, whom the pressure of business overtasked amid the occupations of the forum, of canvassing, of public affairs. Is that canvassing? Canvass? Yeah. Or of public affairs and the management of the causes of friends before I could form any true notion of the importance of such great employments. But if there seemed to you to be so much in me, to whom, though capacity, as you think, may not greatly have been wanting, yet to whom learning, leisure, and the keen application to study which is so necessary have certainly been wanting, what do you think would be the case if those acquirements which I have not gained should be united to some greater genius than mine? How able, how great an orator do you think would he prove? 18. Antonius then observed, You prove to me, Crassius, what you advance, nor do I doubt that he will have far greater fund of eloquence, who shall have learned the reason and nature of everything and of all sciences. But, in the first place, this is difficult to be achieved, especially in such a life as ours and such occupations. And next, it is to be feared that we may, by such studies, be drawn away from our exercise and practice of speaking before the people and in the forum. The eloquence of those men whom you mentioned a little before seems to me to be of a quite different sort, though they speak with grace and dignity as well on the nature of things as on human life. Theirs is a neat and florid kind of language, but more adapted for parade and exercise in the schools than for these tumults of the city and forum. For when I, who late in life and then but lightly touched upon Greek learning, was going as proconsul to Cilicia, and had arrived at Athens, I awaited there several days on account of the difficulty of sailing, and as I had every day with me the most learned men, nearly the same that you have just now named, and I report, I know not how, had spread among them, that I, like you, was versed in causes of great importance, everyone, according to his abilities, took occasion to discourse upon the office and art of an orator. Some of them, as Carus himself said that those whom we call orators were nothing but a set of mechanics with glib and well-practiced tongues, but that no one could be an orator but a man of true wisdom, and that eloquence itself, as it considered in the art of speaking well, was a kind of virtue, and that he who possessed one virtue possessed all, and that virtues were in themselves equal and alike. And thus he who was eloquent possessed all virtues and was a man of true wisdom. But their phraseology was intricate and dry and quite unsuited to my taste. Charmatus indeed spoke much more diffusely on those topics. Not that he delivered his own opinion, for it is the hereditary custom of everyone in the academy to take the part of opponents to all in their dispositions. But what he chiefly signified was that those who were called rhetoricians and laid down rules for the art of speaking understood nothing, and that no man could attain any command of eloquence who had not mastered the doctrines of the philosophers.